Fuck!
You know, I'm not even disappointed. In fact, I'm not even gonna call this a rant video, because having a rant would imply that I had some level of expectations, and no, I went in there expecting to come out going, and that's exactly what I did. So yeah, Paranormal Activity 6, The Ghost Dimension, which I want to point out is the lamest fucking title. So for the plot of this movie, I suggest just watching any of the other ones, because they're all pretty much the same. We have a family who's experiencing some paranormal activity in the form of Toby the Ghost, because they had to give him a goddamn name. They call in a priest to try and solve the problem, it doesn't work, and everyone dies in the end. Oh, but it's completely different this time, because now we have time travel! Yeah! Well, I say time travel, but it's very, very underutilized in this movie, despite being the driving force of the plot, I suppose? Because it's only really brought up once in like this one scene, which I think is the only creepy scene in the movie, where the two brothers, Ryan and Mike, I'll get onto the characters a bit later, are watching this video footage of Katie from like basically the main character of the series, when she's a little girl. And she has some kind of psychic episode where she sort of sees them in modern days, even though what she's doing is like filmed in the 80s. I mean, that was probably the only creepy scene in the movie. But that's also the only time where time travel is really addressed. But I suppose I should get on to the actual full explanation of what's going on before I get to that. So the characters this time, we have Ryan, his wife Emily, their little girl Layla, and Mike, who is the brother of the husband. You know, for all intents and purposes, this might as well just been Seth Rogen and James Franco, because these guys were all just like, dude, look at that shit. Oh, fuck you, you fucking dipshit. They tried throwing on all this, like, Adam Sandler level comedy at us, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? What kind of mood are you trying to set? I mean, in a regular horror movie, fine, because you can have, like, little funny antics like this, but again, with this being a found footage movie, there's already a certain tone that's being set. Reality. You guys aren't making me feel like I'm being immersed. So Mike the brother moves in with the family, them and their incredibly attractive nanny. I just want to point, would a wife hire a nanny that looks like that? I don't know. I don't think so. And as expected, obviously, Toby the Ghost pops up and starts doing some paranormal activity around the house. And they set up cameras to try and capture it. Oh, speaking of cameras, we have this very high-tech 80s camera, which the husband finds just lying around for reasons that totally baffle me, but I'll get onto that in a sec. Basically, this camera that they find allows them to see the ghost dimension, I suppose. They can see Toby the Ghost through this. He sort of appears as like some black gelatinous symbiote from Spider-Man or something like that. And the explanation they give for this camera existing is that the witchcraft cult that's sort of been appearing throughout the last few sequels used it so they can see Toby the Ghost. Which makes no sense at all, because they've had absolutely no problem seeing him without it in the earlier movies. I mean, they were looking at him, they were addressing him, the kids was fucking speaking to him all the time. So why do they need this camera? Oh wait, it's so we, the audience, can see their stupid little particle effects. Oh, of course. Anyway, as been with the case with the last few sequels, Toby the Ghost is after the kid. Because the little girl Layla apparently was born on the exact same day as Hunter, who was the kid from the earlier movies. And they need her and Hunter's blood in order to make Toby the Ghost a real boy! Yeah, so all along he's just wanted to be in a real body. Which, by the way, according to the little girl, a little sketch that she does, Toby the Ghost is actually a sheep. So as far as visuals go, because this is probably going to be the, as I said, the main purpose of the movie existing, because they wanted to show the little particle effects of this new camera, they sucked. We had this shot of the ghost dimension itself, which is basically just a hole in the wall. But that looked terrible. The little girl walking through it, she instantly turned to basic computer graphics because she was getting very, very, very small, very, very fast as she was walking down it, so that looked terrible. Toby the Ghost himself in his big black form, which they just keep digging themselves in a hole by letting us see this thing and making it identifiable and giving it a name because it's losing its mystery. It's not scary anymore, it's just a joke. Although I suppose you can sort of look at it as bringing an end to the franchise, fingers crossed, because, spoiler alert, obviously, the little girl inexplicably becomes possessed or whatever happens to them. Do we ever really know what happens to them? They sort of, I mean, the kids, they sort of just willingly decide to help the witches out. I mean, are they getting hypnotized? Are they getting possessed? I mean, well, no, I mean, they're not, because the priest in the movie explicitly says that they're not being possessed, so what's happening to them? Anyway, the little girl, possessed or whatever, helps bring Toby to life, so he's a human now. We never actually see what he looks like, we just see his feet. I mean, I suppose it would have been weird if they showed us this big weird sheep demon, because that would have just been a I think they would have gotten more laughs than anything else. Yeah, everybody dies, and she walks off with the sheep demon. And so since he's alive now, I guess that means he's not going to be able to be a poltergeist anymore. So maybe that's going to bring the end of the franchise. No. No, they'll find a way. This series makes way too much money for them. At the end of the day, I certainly wouldn't say this is the worst paranormal movie out of the lot. I'd probably give that title to the third or fourth one. But this adds nothing new to it. I mean, every paranormal movie that's come out over the last few years has claimed to be the one that'll answer all the questions, that will, tie everything together, but no, they never do. It just adds more questions. I mean, for instance, time travel? When has this been a thing that they've been able to do? These witches have access to time travel? Are we going to see Doc Brown drive in his DeLorean at one point? Or another question, an even more simple question. In the scene where the little girl, paints witchcraft symbols all over her wall, why don't the family clean it up? I mean, if your kids scribbled on the wall, the first thing you do is clean it. Yet they leave these symbols, which, by the way, at this point in the movie, they know are witchcraft. They know are demonic and evil symbols. Yet they leave them on the fucking wall. Oh, and my biggest question, a question that I practically have for most found footage movies that are this stupid. Why doesn't anybody look at the footage? I mean, there are multiple times in the movie where the guy, like Ryan, the main character, is talking to his wife about something he's seen on the footage. Like, for instance, it's a bit where the little girl touches a mirror, and then they take her away, and then when they leave, we see a hand, like a handprint, glide down the mirror, and then smash it. Nobody ever brings this up despite them having this on camera, and that was the night before, which means they've checked the footage since then! Why doesn't anybody react to this? Oh, I'm gonna have a hernia in a second. Okay. End of the day, the movie sucks. Whoa, big surprise. I'll see you next time.